Hello, everybody. My name is Nadine Shitta. I'm an immigration attorney and founder of NS Law Firm. I practice out of Houston, but I help couples all over the country get their green cards. This is my absolute favorite type of petition to do, so let's dive right in. So, the first question you ask yourself as someone applying on behalf of your spouse is, am I eligible? Of course, your spouse also has to be eligible, but you need to know if you can even file for them in the first place. So, as a petitioner, one of the first questions you're going to ask is, am I eligible to even marry? So, you have to be over 18 and have no marriage history, or your marriage history has to have been finalized. So, you're either widowed and you can produce proof of that, or you're divorced and you can show a divorce decree. For divorces that happen outside of the US, that can get a little bit tricky just to try to find the right type of decree for your petition. Secondly, have you been convicted of certain crimes? So for both you and the beneficiary, you and your spouse, that could be an issue if you have anything involving fraud, misrepresentation, or theft in your background. That's going to affect your application. And then lastly, have you been convicted by USCIS, by immigration services themselves, of previous fraud or misrepresentation? That could very likely bar you from being able to apply for someone or to have been applied for by someone else. So the second question is going to be, where is your spouse? If they're inside the US, the process is usually a one-step process. It's fairly quickly and fairly easy. Right now, May 2022, you're looking at about 5 to 12 or 14 months to wait for an interview, just depending on where you are in the country. If they're outside of the US, the process is called consular processing, and this is done in two different steps. So first, you would file the I-130, and then the case would go to the NVC, and then after that, the National Visa Center, they would contact the consulate abroad and set up an interview with them. So as far as timing goes on that one, that's going to vary quite a bit, just depending on the consulate itself and where you are in the United States. So what do I file? A lot of things. That's why you hire me to do it for you. So the first part of the packet is going to be the forms. Some forms you do have to absolutely have. Others, the ones I put an asterisk next to, are optional, but the 765 is a work permit, the I-131 is a travel permit, and the 1145, that's more to if you want to get text message or email updates about your petition anytime USCIS takes some type of action on your file. Secondly, you're going to want to support those forms with certain types of evidence. The list is not exhaustive. It just really depends on what your specific case is. Same with the bona fides to prove the type of relationship that you have. And in marriage-based adjustment, you have to have a lot of proof of your relationship. And again, that's where we come in because we have quite a bit of experience in dealing with exactly what type of evidence you need. So, evidence showing bona fide or good faith marriage. I get this question a lot. Do I really have to give them all these pieces of evidence? Or I did this before and I didn't really include all of it. Do I have to still do it? Yes. So you have the burden to prove to immigration services that your marriage is real. A burden, legally speaking, is a responsibility to prove the evidence, to prove something so that immigration has made it the couple's responsibility to show that they're really married. So yes, you have to provide as much evidence as you possibly can. Overwhelm them with it. Just give them everything you got. So some evidence is absolutely necessary, and that would include the first two items over here. Joint financials are also very necessary. At the very least, have a joint bank account or joint tax returns. The last two are just kind of like the icing on the cake, if you have it. If you've taken trips together, if you planned your honeymoon, pictures with friends and family. Family especially is very important to show that your marital union really is real from both parties. So let's say everything is put together. We've already gathered all the documents, all the evidence. It's at immigration services now. What happens? A few things before you get your green card. So first of all, you're going to get a receipt notice. If you file online, which I don't recommend, If you file online, you get a receipt notice right away. If you file by paper filing, if you mail it in, then you will get a receipt notice within about a couple of weeks to a month. Each one of the forms that you have in your packet has its own receipt number. So keep track of that receipt number to see exactly where your petition is at. Next, you're going to get a biometrics appointment. Biometrics means that they're going to take your fingerprints, and they want to do that to make sure that you're not like, you don't have a criminal history or anything, or that you haven't defrauded the government before. Social Security and your work permit both arrive separately. Now, as of May 2022, for my married couples, it's taken about 5 months for them to get work permits. Next, you're going to go through a marriage interview. This is a very intense interview. We highly recommend that you have an attorney prepare you for this interview. They will ask you very personal questions, and we have plenty of experience in preparing our couples for this interview. If all goes well, it's going to really go one of two ways. If you've been married less than 2 years, then you'll receive something called a conditional green card, where they put conditions on your green card. The condition is you still have to be with your spouse 2 years from that point. That's the condition part of the conditional green card. If you've been married more than 2 years, you really don't have to worry about this next part. But to get the conditions removed from your green card, 1 year and 9 months between that and 2 years of the date that you receive your conditional green card, you have to apply to remove the conditions and apply for a permanent resident card. When that happens, you have to reprove a lot of the same stuff that you did from the previous slide. You have to still prove that you are married, that you share bills, all that fun stuff. And if all goes well, one of the big privileges of being married to a U.S. citizen is the fact that you can apply for naturalization within 3 years or 2 years and 9 months of receiving your green card. So from the date of this conditional green card right here till the day that you're allowed to apply for naturalization is about a 3-year period. So a situation that we deal with quite often is what happens if I divorce before removal of conditions. Now remember that in a marriage-based green card, they're giving you the green card so that you can come and live in the United States with your spouse. So if there's no spouse, they really don't want to give you a green card. So if you do get divorced before you remove the conditions that they've imposed on your marriage, which is that you have to be together and stay married for 2 years, just a thought, you're absolutely going to need an attorney, because two things are likely to happen. The first one is definitely going to happen. There's going to be a presumption that the marriage was fraudulent, and that's going to come up automatically. Next, you may get an order of deportation asking you to leave the country. So highly suggest that you have an attorney if you guys get divorced before the removal of your conditions, because you will have to have your spouse with you at that second interview. Solution: apply for the interview waiver through us. You will absolutely need an attorney to do this, and call us. We can walk you through it. So this is our contact information. Our consultation is only $50. We're happy to help with this issue. As I mentioned before, this is our absolute favorite type of petition to do, and we take clients from all 50 states. You can check us out in the links below. Now to the good stuff. What's this going to cost me? Not including government fees, I laid out what we offer as 2 different options. Some people like to hire an attorney, and in this case, your only job is to fill out the questionnaire, sign some forms, and provide us with the evidence, and we'll take care of it from there. If you like to do it yourself, we offer a petition review, and we're happy to assist. The forms can be complex to navigate, so we will help you through that as we do the petition review and offer you customized help based on your needs. It's been a pleasure to talk with you, so call or text us, and we're happy to help you with your marriage petition.